Welcome back. Now, we will be beginning this conversation. To join me in the studio today to carry on this conversation is the founder of Clevero Communication, the Cleverer Center, and former head of media development at BBC Media Action, a media and communications consultant. He is also the executive director of West African Broadcast and Media Academy, WABMA. Mr. Alio Leonard, welcome to the show.
Good to be here.
It's been a while. How are you these days?
I'm fine. We thank God.
Splendid. Now, on democracy, what really is democracy these days? Is it just simply conducting elections? People feel once we've conducted elections, we now officially have democracy across Africa, regardless of whether people are participating or not, whether the will of the people are respected or not. What is democracy in that sense?
Unfortunately, what you just said is what a lot of people think. You know, people galvanize for elections, even the politicians galvanize for elections, and after that, that's all. But it's about participation. That's the key word. Being able to decide things that affect you. You know, and it goes beyond, many times when you hear words around governance, people look at it that you're just talking about the people in government, executive, National Assembly. Governance is about services. So democracy is your ability to contribute to services that should be meant for you. You should be able to say, oh, this is what I need in my community. This is what I can also contribute, and you should be given that space to contribute. That's what democracy is about, participation. So nobody comes and just drops something on you, hey, this is what we have for you, go. No, but they'll ask you, hey, what do you want? What's going on around? Then you begin to share, then you rub ideas. You know, you might not have all the ideas, other people will come in, share ideas with you, and then you agree collectively.
Quite interesting. But we see across Africa what we have is, from what you've just described, a democracy is supposed to be a bottom-heavy structure where the local governments are actually very active because they're engaging with the people at the local level, and then they pass on the needs and it grows up. But we see democracy in Africa in most places is top-heavy. Maybe part of the issue is the inheritance of the king and empire and kind of mentality. And so we feel once we've elected the king, everybody go home. You're no longer needed and the king does what he wants. So a few things I'm going to ask. If this is the case in the African system, what can African leaders do, or what can the African people do to gain back their democracy, to bring back that structure where the local governments are actually the ones that function the most?
If we even go back to this king thing you talk about, let's take, for instance, the Oba of Benin. The Oba of Benin was supreme over the entire Benin Empire. You had the Shekris, you had the Urobos and all that. They all paid homage to him.
Yes.
But go to Delta State today, you will see so many first-class kings that have been there since that time. That means even in that structure, there was devolution of power.
Yeah.
So people don't go to the Oba of Benin just
for
like
everything.
that. You understand? You deal with the local ruler that he has placed there. You have people, heads of quarters and all that, you know. But now, some people want to blame it on the military, rule and all that, but I don't think so. I think it's more of selfishness that has come into it, where people think about themselves first before others. So if you get into power, you're not thinking about the people who put you there, you're just thinking about yourself, what you gain, and that is where it has come from. Go to the grassroots, people still want to participate. People still talk, but unfortunately, because the emphasis is always at the top, even those local government people, when you go to them, they'll say, it's president. you get, and because they don't know better, which is where my media comes in. I know I'll talk about that later. Because they don't know better, they just believe that's the way it is.
Okay. So we're going to go to talk about the role of the media in democracy. But before we go that, apart from participation, which is key, what are the other essential elements of a functioning democracy?
The rules and laws. If you take Nigeria, for instance, honestly speaking, we have one of the best rules. We have one of the best laws in the world. That's the truth. There are so many things in Nigeria that are very good that we always, I hear people call international best practices. I've been in the development sector for about 18 years now, and I can tell you well that these guys come in here to learn from us. But many times we don't value what we have. And it's because when we set these rules, when it comes to implementation,
That's a problem.
that's a problem. So there must be rule of law. If something is wrong, it's wrong.
Regardless of who.
Regardless. And of course, we're talking about freedom of speech, you know, but freedom of speech with responsibility. Responsibility is a key element of democracy. And many times we hear people talk about freedom of speech, but you don't remember the responsibility part, even in your house. your children would want to speak up, but they don't know the responsibility that they also have. So that's how it starts, and then it comes out, you know, all that. And of course, provision of services. They are basic things that you need. We need power, electricity, we need water. These things are not difficult to get in Nigeria. That's the truth.
Yeah.
If individuals today can provide their own electricity, their own water, and all that, that means if we really have an inclusive democracy, this collective will of providing things could make Nigeria be able to provide everything.
Well, all right,
Yeah.
this is amazing. Now, before you talked about the fact that some of the people at the local government leadership who are supposed to be actually spearheads of government, of development, of democracy, don't know better. And they should. So I'm going to ask you the big question. What is the role of media in democracy?
The media is the fourth estate of the realm, but unfortunately, my media people were all here don't seem to understand what that fourth estate of the realm is.
Please break it down.
Okay, let's look at it like this. Now, you know where the president is.
Yes.
We say Aso Villa presidential is there. We know where the executives are, all the ministers are in their office, right? We know where the judiciary is.
Yes, we do.
In the courts. We know where the National Assembly and all those people, they meet in one building. Where's the media? How do you listen to the media? Now we are here, we are talking worldwide, everybody is watching us, you know. So the media, if I want to go biblically, is omnipresent. That means the media controls all those other tiers. That's what the fourth estate of the realm means. It means you can determine what happens in government if you do media properly. So that is the thing. Media, people don't know we don't know the power we have. We don't know the power we have. And that is the key problem. And unfortunately, because there's limited capacity building in that direction to train people about doing development programming, you know, rather than being used by politicians and other people, you know, it just keeps going like that. New ones coming up don't really know what it is. Just believe, oh, what I want to do on air is just go on air and just talk and just, you know, play some music, some, you know, and all that. No, it's about you making impact, transforming lives with your content.
Okay.
That is it.
Two very big things quickly. Because of the level of poverty in most African societies, we find that everything is monetized. Education is now monetized, skills, everything is monetized. It's no longer about the development or the quality of human lives. It is about the quality, how much I can make for myself to move my life forward. Fewer people believe in the collective. Now we see in African society, and the media is no less affected, where the media practice is more about what I can get. So if I use this platform to get popularity, and instead of speaking for the people or speaking for a cause, I begin to leverage on it to make money in politics and things like that. And so we are going to talk about that. How do we move that? But let's begin with globally, there seems to be a pushback on media freedoms. Globally, in Africa, even in the so-called West, there is a serious pushback on on media freedoms. Now, if the media is supposed to be holding the various realms of government accountable, bringing conversations, bringing the people's voices to the fore, so that those who may be out of touch with what's happening in the grassroots because of their elevated positions should be able to see it. There's this great pushback, and this is really discomforting systems across board. What's happening, and how can we reverse this ugly trend?
The truth is that many times when we look at press freedom and all that, we look at the developing world more.
Yeah.
It's not true. Even in the developed world. Now, the thing is that every government, especially in the developed world, maybe here we don't really know how to use the media here as a government. I don't think we know. You know, in the developed world, they know the power of the media. So they know how to use the media to push whatever agenda they want. If you go back to the First World War, where the BBC started,
Yeah.
it was about the UK using the media to push whatever.
Yeah,
You know, when,
yes,
when
to
the
be able
Germans,
to, yeah.
you get. So that is how it has been. International media, the truth is, everyone has an agenda. This is a state-owned station.
Yeah.
The law that sets it up says it should promote the things of the government.
Yeah.
That is the law that sets it up.
Yeah.
You understand? So when people say it, that is what it's
set.
meant to be. So that's the beginning. Same with the BBC and so on. It has to be about the UK's policy. You know, so that is where it actually starts from. So now when governments know the power of the media and then they decide to go overboard, then problems begin to come.
Okay.
But if they just use it in the development way, it's about showing what government is doing to help the people and all that. Now, if the government is sincere and they just stop at that level, you don't need to gag anybody. You just strategically use the media to do what you want to do. That's the thing. So that is where it starts from. Lack of understanding of how governments can use the media. Now, before that, you now have those who are against the government.
Interesting. Yes, we do.
Exactly. So instead of also studying how you could use the media to quietly push your agenda, influence within boundaries, you now also go overboard, try to push things just to discredit and all that. That also is part of removing that freedom.
Okay, so let me join two questions, something I spoke about earlier. Because of the nature of society today, everybody is trying to use what they have, their positions, to be able to get ahead in life, make more for themselves. Now, the media is not isolated. Media practitioners across the world, globally, this happens even more in the West than it does happen here at a far larger scale. Tilt their stories, their editorials, their perceptions. They even push personal perceptions and paid perceptions as news and not as. So what can we do to bring balance to this system so governments on one hand can feel more comfortable that, okay, the media is honest, let's allow the media do their work. And also the media also should, the accountability thing you spoke about. Yes, I have freedom, but freedom with responsibility. What can we do to bring the balance back so both people and government can trust the media better?
First, we have to believe in ourselves as media. Let's come to Nigeria. Nigeria media, we don't believe in ourselves. In fact, Nigeria generally, we don't believe in ourselves. I watch sports. Look, in my house, I receive stations all across Africa. If Toby Amuson was from one francophone country, our PSAs, our jingles will be running every 30 minutes. Go and see the way Sadio Mane is shown and depicted on Senegal station. I watch it. Go and check Cameroon just next door here. I watch it. And I've spoken to a lot of people about it. We don't believe in ourselves as media. We don't believe that we are good enough. We don't believe we have what it takes. Rather, we depend solely on the narrative by foreign media. We shouldn't be. We must be able to bring out our own narratives. See the tourism section on this show. Wonderful. How much of that do you see online? How much of that do you see? So that is what, first, let's believe in ourselves. Promote everything about us. Believe that we know how to do news properly. Believe we know how to present. I was responsible for a lot of media development activities at the BBC. What we did in Nigeria was recognized as the best in the world. We had one of the best HIV/AIDS campaign in the world.
I remember that. All right, exactly. Because of time, we're practically out of time, and this is the last question we'll be able to take, so you round up with it. How can we use the media to push development agendas in just about a minute or less?
It's about training, capacity building. One of the ministries, Humanitarian Affairs, is currently working on communication strategy, and that is one thing that the media needs to do. Build capacity, get a strategy, build your staff, train them on how to do development focused programs. A couple of veterans amongst myself came together and we set up that West Africa Broadcast Academy. You have the likes of Kevin Ejiofor, Ilemi Okoka, Jikato, and all that to give back to society. That is the way. Because the young ones that are coming do not know what to do. So we must be able to train them, build capacity. Government media arms, we need to build capacity also, so they also know how to use the media and push development.
Thank you very much, Leonard. It's been interesting talking to you. In fact, it feels like we should, give a little more time so that we can enlarge this conversation. We hope we'll see you back on the show. Thank you very much for coming.
Definitely.